I mean, it's insane. So they rig the search results, they take all the data from their sellers, they send it to the manufacturer, they then cause a loophole to sell it through a fake third-party seller to get around the Indian legislature, and all the top brass at Amazon knows this. How does Amazon have $600 million in private brand sales if the third-party sellers are actually third-party sellers? Oh, that's right, because Amazon's cheating. You could say they're criminals. Amazon caught red-handed. So this really great deep dive in Reuters. Amazon copied products and rigged search results to promote its own brands, documents show. Reuters has now reviewed these documents. A trove of internal Amazon documents reveals how the e-commerce giant ran a systemic campaign of creating knockoff goods and manipulating search results to boost its own product lines in India, practices it has denied engaging in, and at least 2 top Amazon executives reviewed the strategy. Sound familiar? Where else have we heard that happening? Oh yeah, that's right, in the United States. Here's a video we did a year and a half ago, April 2020. Some executives had access to data containing proprietary information that they used to research best-selling items. If you've been listening to the show, we've literally been talking about this for months. Of course they're using this information. The problem is that no one is able to regulate this or enforce this. Of course Amazon's using this information. Now, here's the interesting thing. My last point there in that highlight of that clip was that no one's able to enforce or regulate this, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. In India, they've passed regulation to prevent this exact thing from happening. And we've talked about this on the show a number of times. India has regulation in place that says if you're a foreign-owned, foreign-controlled marketplace, you cannot do 1P and 3P. You got to do one or the other, right? You can either be an e-commerce company that sells 1P products where you buy the product, you hold them on balance sheet, and then you resell them, 1P. Or you have third-party sellers and the inventory is not owned or controlled by you. It's sold by third-party sellers, marketplace, right? And literally, this is law in India. This is actually a great law. I've been very pro this, even though, yes, it's a form of protectionism, tech protectionism. How does this problem even happen? If Amazon isn't supposed to be able to sell its own 1P stuff, if it's got third-party sellers, that's the craziest, maddening part of this whole thing. And I'll go through and I'll take you through and show you, yes, all the things that Amazon did, which is documented, and they've got the goods on them to show that, they're just cheaters. And you could say they're criminals. And so, but let's start with that. What loophole did they do to even sell first-party products? And here is the crazy thing. You got to scroll way down in this report, but they do touch on it. Credit to Reuters to kind of really recognize that. In early 2016, Amazon private brand employees were internally noting the success of Accenture, a clothing brand they had launched on Amazon.in, that's Amazon in India, in partnership with a seller. The seller owned the brand. Amazon designed the products. These are Amazon branded, Amazon designed products. Amazon is using all the data from other third-party sellers on the platform. It's all documented in this thing. And then they're saying, hey, seller, you own the brand, wink, wink. You own the brand. And then what this document shows is that they then favor the brand, which is technically sold by a third-party seller, but it's an Amazon product designed and created by Amazon. They get the manufacturer, then they're basically pawning out like just a puppet, just a facade of a seller to then act as the third-party seller to get past the regulation. But in the economics of it all, Amazon is getting their slug of this. And we know that because the actual documents here have revenue projections from selling their own first-party products. The 2016 document stated a goal: offer Amazon's own goods in 20 to 40% of all product categories on Amazon India within 2 years. Amazon would achieve profitability in its private brand business by only launching products that will provide more margin than comparable reference brand products. Amazon predicted private brand sales would reach nearly $600 million by 2020 in India. Riddle me this. How does Amazon have $600 million in private brand sales if the third-party sellers are actually third-party sellers? Oh, that's right. Because Amazon's cheating. I mean, it's insane. I mean, that's really what ratchets this up to the next level. This article goes on to talk about how, which Amazon executives actually reviewed all these documents. This guy right here is one of them, Russell Grandinetti, the head of Amazon International Consumer Business globally. That's the guy. He knew about this. He reviewed the documents. Of course he knew about this. And then the reporting goes into detail on how the employees at Amazon, they would go create a t-shirt line called Accenture. And then they saw that Accenture had a lot of returns. And then they ripped off a second t-shirt line, right? They said, oh, this one's performing really well, doesn't have the kind of returns that the first t-shirt we ripped off has. So let's rip off the second t-shirt and now make that our next version of Accenture. Literally what they did. And they have all the data. They know which one's performing, how it's performing, where it's performing better, which one's performing better in this situation, which one's performing better in that situation. And then they just take the measurements, they ship the samples to the manufacturer, and they say, here you go, make this. Oh, and we're Amazon, so we're going to order a bunch of this. We can commit to crazy high volumes, and you're going to give us the best pricing that you're going to give to anyone. And then they get their margins. They don't have to pay for the search results. They know they're going to be in the top search results. The company used a technique called search seeding to boost the rankings of Amazon Basics and Solimo brand goods. The report stated, we use search seeding for newly launched products to ensure that they feature in the first 2 or 3 product search results. So they rig the search results. They take all the data from their sellers. They send it to the manufacturer. They then cause a loophole to sell it through a fake third-party seller to get around the Indian legislature. And all the top brass at Amazon knows this. Big business, hundreds of millions of dollars. Probably now billions of dollars today. Crazy. So now what's happening? Okay, it's clear. They lied. They're liars. They cheated. Okay. So now what's happening? You get now some senators in the United States saying U.S. bill would stop big tech from favoring its own products. This just came out. Like this article came out from Reuters. Now the senators are all up in arms. Oh, we got to put this bill into place. Like no one knew. Like, would have been nice if, here it is, in June of 2021. Remember when the House Judiciary Committee passed these bills? Bipartisan bills. We covered them on the show at length. I actually live stream commented on the House Judiciary proceeding when they were going over these bills. 5 bills, and one of them is focused, actually 2 of them are focused on doing this exact thing to stop platforms and marketplaces from favoring their own products. It's vertical integration. This is what Microsoft got in trouble for in the 90s. It's the easiest thing to catch them on. And that's why, what we say on the show all the time is that if you try and say the platform disadvantages the consumer, you're going down on a wild goose chase. What you need to understand is that platforms take advantage of producers, in this case, third-party sellers. In Apple's case, Spotify and app developers. Google's case, third-party websites. Google, Amazon, and Apple are all doing this, vertically integrating to grab more margin and penalize producers. And producers are customers. And in this House Judiciary report that they did on antitrust situations in the United States, they actually got an internal memo from Amazon. And in the Amazon memo, it says, our sellers, our producers are very important to us. They are customers. We treat them like customers. Producers are customers, just like consumers are customers. Platforms have two customer groups. That is the way to thread the needle to show that platforms are truly, these large tech monopolies are actually monopolies, and they are taking advantage of customers, which are producers. How much more evidence do you want? So now, these bills, we haven't heard anything about these bills, but now the senators, let me introduce my own bill. The bills already exist. You just can't believe anything these politicians do, right? They just want to be in the news. They don't actually do anything. The whole system is corrupt. I digress. Then you had 5 U.S. lawmakers accuse Amazon of possibly lying to Congress following the Reuters report. Can you get a backbone? Doesn't everyone understand that everyone lies to Congress? Like literally everyone that testifies to Congress is lying to Congress. Like everyone does it. Can't anyone have any sort of follow through to actually say you're lying? Not, okay. Here's what they did. At best, this reporting confirms that Amazon's representatives misled the committee. At worst, it demonstrates that they may have lied to Congress in possible violation of federal criminal law. They may have lied in possible violation. Could you hedge it any better? The best case scenario should be that Amazon lied. The worst case scenario should be that they have deliberately defied and cheated the Indian law. Now, if they get caught for it or not, if this is criminal proceedings, all this stuff, it's all going to ensue. But these letters are a joke. Our Congress is a joke. And what you'll see is even if a law is passed by Congress, you go through the years and years and trials and tribulations it would take for Congress to pass a law to try and do anything against Amazon, they would just pull some kind of shenanigans like this and just actively subvert it and then let you try and actually hold them accountable to it, which now we'll see what happens in India. India actually has been much more progressive, as we've reported on the show, and taken much more action proactively to try and limit the abuse by large tech monopolies, particularly foreign ones, in the domestic market. So I am actually much more bullish on India holding Amazon accountable than our US politicians. Hi, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, but even better, make sure to follow us on Odyssey, follow us on Rumble, and text us 203-646-5159. Text the word Monopoly. You'll be subscribed. You'll get updates about when we're going live, our latest videos, and we'll send you even a little goodie bag. And in the event that we all get banned from big tech, we'll still be connected.